From the beginning, lighthouses were created to be a guiding light to those traveling at sea, a fact that is now ironic considering that the very things they were made to protect have since begun to destroy them. Through rising sea levels, coastal erosion, and various other climate change issues, lighthouses are beginning to deteriorate, which raises the question, are these historic protectors worth saving? According to Dennis Tardiff, chairman of the board of directors at Pomham Rocks Lighthouse, the deterioration of his lighthouse has become a very real issue, one he believes is worth fighting for.
Deterioration. That's caused by weather, no heat anymore inside. Our lighthouse, for instance, was in shambles on the inside until we restored it. The ceiling was falling in, the plaster was falling off the walls, everything was warped and out of shape.
Like Pomham Rocks, many lighthouses rely on those they once looked to protect to restore them. However, adapting to these issues can only go so far.
Well, mitigation would certainly be better, but adaptation, of course, is needed where you can't mitigate, or a combination of both. In our case, yes, that's really all we can do at this point. It's going to take everyone's effort to combat climate change.
Save the Bay's Habitat Restoration Manager, Wendy Ferguson, seemed to agree with Tardiff's comparison of the benefits to both adaptation and mitigation.
Adaptation is, we are already beginning to adapt, and when I started referring to a lot of the work that I do as adaptation about 9 years ago, people were still debating climate change. I don't think many people debate climate change when they see the impacts day in and day out. When coastal property owners, coastal communities see that the water level is getting higher, they see the erosion. Inland communities know that these precipitation events are getting more and more intense. That's all due to that heat trapping blanket that is causing our rainstorms to become not just an inch of rain every, a few times a year. We're getting these huge downpours that are way too much for our infrastructure to handle. So they're causing erosion on rivers and streams. They're causing community flooding. So I think most people who are in this, who are responsible for maintaining infrastructure, taking care of communities, responsible for like a Department of Public Works or a planner, most people understand that climate change is real and it's here, and we're having to learn how to adapt to it each and every day.
By 2100, sea levels are expected to raise another 8 feet, putting our greatest protectors at risk.
Naturally, weather is having a lot to do with it as far as the deterioration of a lighthouse. Unless it's properly cared for and maintained, they're going to go eventually. It is ironic. It's 18th century thinking versus 21st century reality. It's caught up with us, and something has to be done.
Though the future of lighthouses looks dim, there are still ways in which we can begin to protect them.
Lighthouses can be replaced with floating structures or things. I've done that already. Solar panels and such. We have solar panels actually, and that's one of the things that we have to help combat climate change, that's what you could say, by not using the power from the shore. So we're using the sun's power.
With climate change and rising sea levels quickly approaching, we can only begin to wonder what comes next for these historic structures that kept us safe from the ocean's edge.